Okay, y'all. I decided to go live this time because the last video I made, it took me forever to get it uploaded. So hopefully I will know how to save this when I get done because I've never done a live video before. So anyway, from the last one, I let y'all know that, well, from my last post, I let y'all know that I was going to start. When I got to the front, I would post a video on how to self-retie. So everything else is done. The back, and I did everything except for this little section right here. Because I felt like it has a lot of new growth, and I should be able to give a good example with the 1, 2, 3 tools that I'm going to use. I wanted to do 4. But when we closed the shop, I forgot to grab one of the other tools, and I thought I had one here, but I don't. But I'll talk about that in a minute. So I usually do a 4-point rotation on everybody's locs, and that includes myself. So this is going to be a tutorial for a 4-point rotation. This is my favorite tool. I'm trying to think. It's basically just called an interlocking tool. You may find some on other websites that may be called something else, but if you go on Amazon and you look up interlocking tool, this is what you're gonna see mostly. This is my favorite tool to use. This is what I've done my whole head with, and what I do, what I use for anybody who has more than 4 inches of hair. My absolute favorite. Most of my clients know in the early stages I used these tools. This is the micro size interlocking tool from happyandnappy.com. Nappy and Happy. I've posted that link before, but I'll post it again. This is the micro size. This is the small. And I use both of these depending on how long your hair is or where I'm working. So these are also tools you can use. If you don't have those, which most people don't, some of my clients do, most people don't. Most of us do have one of these. This is a good old-fashioned crochet hook. You can actually use this to retighten your locks. It takes much, much longer, but if you don't have anything else, we're all on lockdown here. People are not going out. A lot of us already have one of these at the house. So if you have that, pull it out. Or when you get a chance, go back to this video and you'll have this handy dandy tool right here. The other thing that you're definitely going to need when self-retying are hair clips. Small, large, whatever, you're going to need them. So we're going to get started. My hair is 8 to 10 weeks. Well, I had not had a retie in about 8 to 10 weeks. So look at all of that. That's a lot of new growth. So imagine how horrible self-retying all of my hair was. It was absolutely horrible. But I'm here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a large clip. I'm going to pull these to the side. My little short baby right here, I'm going to lock her down too. And we're going to start at the corner. So I hope you can see, when you have not had a retie in a long time, a lot of times you will have hairs that grab. So try to find your part, and any hairs that are sticking together, try to find that part. Some people use a comb. I don't even have combs in my house anymore now that me and my daughter are locked, so I don't have a comb, but your finger will work fine. Okay, so I got the part redefined, and now I'm separating the two locks. And I'm going to start with the one in the front. So I'm going to get another clip, and I'm going to clip this one back. This is what's going to help you, what's going to keep you from locking one micro lock into the other. This is not fail safe. Sometimes, no matter what I do, I still end up mistakenly interlocking one lock into the other. I use a 4-point clockwise rotation. So that's right to left, bottom to top, left to right, top to bottom. I'm going to start with this one. Okay, so you put the hair in the loop. Okay, see that? So it's in there. I usually stop about here on my hair. You stop wherever you're comfortable. Okay, so also because I have so much new growth, it's going to take more than one rotation. I don't like it to be like that, but that's just how it is right now. So just watch and see what I do. So well-defined part. This is the lock I'm working with. So I'm going to go right to left, pull it through, bottom to top, pull it through, left to right, and top to bottom. So that was one full rotation. You see I still have some slack, so I'm going to do it again. So right to left, bottom to top, left to right. It slipped out. That'll happen sometime. Just put it back in. And top to bottom. Okay, so that's a pretty good tightness. Now, you can see there's still a little slack. Most of the time, I would say stop right there. My edges are very healthy and good condition. So I'm going to do another half rotation to tighten that up. So a half rotation is just going to be right to left and then only top to bottom. And now it's tight. One problem that occurs when you haven't had a retie in a long time is you'll get these little bone fuzzies. Now most of the time I just get them and I twist them around. I just twist them back around. Sometimes I twist them around before I even do the interlocking. But what will happen sometimes is when you twist it down, then you do that interlocking, it just frizzes it back up. So I like to do it after. It doesn't always stay. Sometimes I'll even separate it out and braid it around the lock. But right now we're just talking about retying. So that one is done. Now we're going to do this one. I'm going to use this little small interlocking tool from Happy and Nappy or Nappy and Happy. And I probably should have known that before I made this video, but I'll definitely post it again when I know for sure. So you see all of that new growth, right? Excuse me. So I don't like using this tool on longer hair because it takes much longer in my opinion. So to get the hair into the little hole, I kind of fold it over a little bit and slide it through there. It's just like threading a needle. So now it's on there. So I'm going to do the same thing. My 4-point rotation. Right to left. And I hope I'm saying that right. When I do people hair, I always use my right hand and go to the left. So right to left. Bottom to top. Left to right. Top to bottom. Still a lot of slack, so we're going to do it again. Right to left. Bottom to top. Left to right. Top to bottom. Okay. So still a little tiny slack, so I'm going to do a half rotation. Now there may be some people who feel like, oh, you're messing up the pattern. I've been doing this with my hair for almost 2 years. Doing that half rotation has not caused any problems that I can tell. But that's totally up to you. If you don't want to do the half rotation, that's what I do with my hair. Okay. And now these are nicely interlocked. Okay. So I'm going to move on to these next two. I'm going to show you how to use the latch hook. And I'm probably going to do that about 4 times because I feel like most people have a latch hook at home. So you'll have it there to use. So again, I'm making sure the part is defined. As defined as it's gonna be. Any hairs that are gathered, I'm just gonna gently pull them from one side to the other side. Alright. And I'm gonna clip, separate, and clip back. Okay, so now this is what we're about to work with. Now, given that I am about to use the latch hook, the little free hairs, I'm going to go ahead and kind of twist them around. Just a quick little twist, just to kind of pull them in. It's probably still going to frizz back out, but this will be a good time for me to show you what I was talking about when I say it'll frizz back out. So I'm going to take my latch hook, and I'm going to slide it under. And I'm going to grab the hair in there, close it down. Close it down, and then I'm going to pull it through. Okay, so that brought me right to left. So I need to go bottom to top, so I have to take it down from the top, grab the hair, and pull it up. Okay, see the hair freezing back out? That's why I like to do it after, but that's okay. So now I need to go left to right. So I'm going to go in from the right and pull to the left. And now I'm doing my top to bottom, so I'm going to have to go in through the bottom and pull down from the top. Alright, so that was one full rotation. And see how that just balled up right there? That's why I wait and do that after, because it's just going to freeze it back out. So let's do that again, because I have to do at least another 1.5 rotation. So I'm going to push it in so I can pull the hair from right to left. Right to left. Bottom to the top. Oh, wait, I'm going the wrong way. Left to right. And go in through the bottom to pull it down from the top. That's another full rotation. You see I have the slack, so I'm going to do a half rotation. I'm going to go in through the... I'm going to go from the right. I'm sorry, y'all. It's so crazy using the latch hook. I never use the latch hook because it takes forever, but I know y'all got one of these at home. And top to bottom. Okay. Alright, so now when we talked about those little free hairs, I'm going to show y'all what I mean when I say sometimes I braid it around. Sometimes I get those little loose hairs and I make a braid. I use one piece of the loose, 2 pieces of the loose, and the actual lock. And I just braid that hair around, because that was a pretty long piece of hair. And that's what will happen when you haven't had a retie in forever. So we have to improvise. When you braid it around, if the hair is really thin, like these little thin pieces of hairs that I had out, you're not going to see the braid. But if it's thick, if you have a lot of hair that's hanging out, you may be able to see the braid. Now, the braid will diminish over time, but if you don't want to see a braid, then just twist it and wait for it to lock in there. So I'm going to do the latch hook again because it was confusing for me, so it probably was confusing for you guys. So remember, my rotation is right to left, bottom to top, left to right, top to bottom. So in order to do that, I have to go in through the opposite side. So I'm going in so I can pull this lock right to left. Pulled it through. Now I need to do bottom to top. So I'm going in from the top to pull it from the bottom through the top. Okay. And now I need to go left to right. So I need to go in from the right to pull to the left. And then my top to bottom. So I'm going to go in through the bottom and pull down from the top. One rotation done. 1.5 more to go. So here we go again. I'm gonna go in from the left to pull to the right. Is that right? I don't know. Y'all, it's late, but I refuse to go to bed without finishing this retie. So forgive me if I get a little confused. Okay, so I just did right to left, bottom to top. So now I need to go this way to pull left to right, and then top to bottom. Again, was that where I was at, y'all? Maybe not. Sometimes I get confused when I'm doing my own, because today I've been watching movies all day and I was working. I just feel my way in the back. So sometimes I'll get engrossed in something else and I'll forget, like, which way was I going? I don't stress about it too much. For one, like I said, my locks are very, very mature at this point. I would not let myself get preoccupied if I was working with my clients' hair, especially my new clients whose locks are just getting started. But you can see that that's a mature lock. I'm going in and pulling left to right, and then I'm going in so I can pull top to bottom. See, still a little slack there. And again, I say my edges are healthy and strong, so I will tighten mine a little bit tighter. I do have some clients whose edges are a little weak. I would stop there. I would not make it any tighter, just to save your edges. My edges are pretty good, so I'm gonna go and do a half rotation. Right to left, and then I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go under so I can do a top to bottom. So if you want to do a different rotation, maybe a 3-point rotation, I would suggest you look for videos. There are people who post videos all the time with tutorials. I don't want to play with my front locks by showing you how to do a 3-point rotation, because these are my locks in the front. I try not to play with them too much, you know. So I'm just doing 4 points. And all of my clients have 4-point rotations anyway. So that's what I'm going to stick with. So I'm going to pull these to the back. They're done. Now, that took forever, right? So I'm going to go back to my favorite tool. I'm going to separate out again. And go back to my very favorite tool. And we can see how much faster I can move with that tool. All right. Okay. Back to my interlocking tool, my favorite. When you use a tool that is made for this, you don't have to keep taking it off and on and going in and out. You can do your rotations pretty smoothly. That doesn't mean every now and then it will slip out, I'll drop it or something like that. That happens from time to time. But the interlocking is so much smoother with this tool. Okay, so right to left, bottom to top, left to right, top to bottom. And again, I'm saying the right to left, imagining that I'm standing on the side of me doing my own hair. Because when I work on this side, I go this way. When I get over here, I go that way. Because that's the same way I would be going if I was standing and working around. So if what I'm saying does not make sense, imagine yourself, if the rotation that I'm saying doesn't make sense, imagine yourself standing beside yourself doing your hair. And think about it like that, if that helps. So maybe, let's see another way I can say it. So let's just say going across instead of the right to left. So you're going to go from side to side, and you're going to go from bottom to top. Then you're going to go from the opposite side across, and then you're going to go top to bottom. Does that help? I don't know. So let's do half rotation, right to left, and top to bottom. Boom. I caught another hair from up here. I'm just going to pull it apart. Do I have any frizzies? Just a little tiny frizzy right there. I'm just going to twist it around. Just twist it around and make it look neat. Like I said, that happens more when it has been a while since you had a retie. So, yeah. Those frizzies don't happen like that unless it's been more than 6 or 7 weeks since your retie. And like I said, it's been about 8 to 10 weeks since I had my last one. Alright, back to my favorite tool. I see Kendra is watching. Kendra ordered these tools. She did a little practice, and she said she made a mistake and grabbed one lock into the other one. I did that 4 times today working on the back. So that lets you know it's very easy to do. It is fixable. So don't get stressed if you make a few mistakes. Of course, try your best not to, but it's fixable. It's best that you let somebody else fix it though, because you'll make a mistake and cut or pull too many hairs out. So if you make a mistake, let it be. Sometimes it's better to correct that mistake after the hair has grown out for a couple of weeks. Okay, so we're gonna do it again. You can see the new growth. We're using the interlocking tool. These things are really cheap too, guys. You can order a 4-pack from Amazon, I think for like $9.94 or something like that. I'll post that also. I did post it under the last video that I made. So if you want to look now, you can go. Kendra ordered hers and they came pretty quickly, even with everything going on. So interlocking tool, I'll post the link to Amazon when I'm done. So put it in the hole. Y'all want to call this the back side to the front side? I don't know. I'm trying to just use terminology that will help you guys do this yourself if you need to. I would suggest that you only do the front yourself. I mean, if you've never done it before. If you've done it before, then go for it. Anyway, from the back side to the front side, from the bottom to the top, from the front to the back, top to bottom. Let's do that again. Back side to the front side, bottom to the top, front side to the back side, top to bottom. And that's nice and tight. Can y'all see that? I don't need to do a half rotation on that one. It is to the scalp, so that works. Minimal frizzy, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. And I'm going to pull these back with the rest. Okay. Now, on my head, getting up here is when things start getting a little funny. I have a few things I want to show you guys right here. So we're going to go ahead and take care of these two, which are fine. They're normal. We're going to go ahead and tighten these up really quickly. Okay. From the back side, can you see? To the front. From the bottom to the top. It's going to be real freezing. From the front to the back. And top to the bottom. So you see that little ball of hair right there? I hate when that happens. That is something that happens when I start to get right up in this section because of a mistake I made when I first did my locks. So anyway, I'm going to try to make sure I pull all of that down with my nails. Make sure it's down to the start of the lock, and then I'm going to start my rotations again. From the back to the front, from the bottom to the top, from the front to the back, and from the top to the bottom. Now, because I have that little tuft of hair right there, I have to make sure that that went in properly because it's a little ball right there. That always happens here. So basically, when I first started my locks, I was so dead set on my front being so small and so neat. So I parted out really way too small. I really did go too small in the front. So it's made me have some inconsistencies with my front. So here, right in this section, I took some of the small ones and I tried to connect them to the lock behind it. This one is not going to be a good one to show you. I'm going to show you the next one because I'm going to have to play with this one on my own time to get that little puff out. But it always happens when I start getting here. And I really wanted you guys to see a problem area in my hair. Everybody always compliments me on my hair, and I love the compliments, but my hair has issues too, and there are issues that I caused when I started my hair. And because I know that I have those issues with my hair, I was able to remedy that with you guys' hair. But that doesn't mean that this may not come up. When I had my son in 17, I was wearing crochet all the time. So I would braid. A lot of my clients know when I do my crochet, I braid really nice and tight and small so that the front will look really neat. So I did crochet after I had my son, about 3 months after he was born. That's usually when the postpartum shed starts. So I did that same real nice, tight, neat braiding across the front. After I wore that for about 8 weeks, when I took it down, combed my hair out, from here to here, hair just came out. And I had never once had an issue with my edges until I had my son and I put those braids in. I probably should have been a little more gentle given that I was in that postpartum hair shedding phase, but it is what it is. The hair broke off and it was shorter. Still, when I started my locks, I was so dead set on them being so small and neat that I parted them out too small and the hair started to break off when I would tighten, especially if I would go too tight. And that never happened here. Like the bottom 3 or 4 has been fine, but right across here, it has been drama since I started. So what I'm going to do for this one, I told you, well, I don't want to show y'all that technique yet because you might try to do it. I'm not ready. I'll show y'all, but let me go ahead and do this one because it'll be easier for me to do it. I have another technique that I do with thinning, that locks that are thinning at the root that I'm trying to save. It is, I have not perfected it, but almost. I'm getting there. I haven't perfected it on my own hair. It's kind of hard to do it on my own hair. So let's go ahead and do this one, and then I'm going to do that front one. So I'm going to tighten this up. Same pattern that we've been doing. Like I said, y'all, hopefully I'll know how to, this live video I can save. So if anybody wants to go back and refer to it, they can. Okay, so that one is good. We're going to pull it to the back. Now, this is probably one of those times where I should have taken that hair and twisted it around. Then I may or may not have gotten that knot. I can't say for sure, especially here in the front. So, you see there's how thin that looks right here? Because this hair right here used to be a part of that. but it was short when I started, and over time it has crawled out. So one thing I'll do, I will tighten it up a little, then I'll make a small loop. Can you see that? So I loop and make a little hole, and I pull the lock through. Okay, then I loop again and I pull the lock through. What this is doing, it is making a new reinforced top. So I loop again and I pull the lock through. Okay, and then I loop again. It's getting kind of small, so I need to get my latch hook to help. I'll put that in there. Find my loop. Can you still see my loop? So I'm going to loop again, and I'm going to use my latch hook and find the loop and pull it through. Now, so that has made, I really can do another one. I'm going to probably wait. So it's making this part tighter. I need to do another one, but I'm going to need to be way up close to the mirror. But you can kind of see what I did. So it made it a little bit stronger. Once I tighten this up again, this little loop right here, I'm going to integrate these hairs. And what I'll do, I'll come back later and maybe post a picture of how this looks once I'm done repairing it. But that's the start of the repair. So I'll go back and fix this one when I can get eye to eye with the mirror. Can't do that right now, but I'm just gonna hold it down. So like I said, that's getting up into my problem area. So here's another problem that I have, you guys. See this little short little bitty lock right here? So this little short lock used to be 2 locks, and I connected them. The connection did not go as well as I wanted it to go, and a part of it worked its way off. And I just let it go because I have 3 two-tailed locks in my head, and what I'm going to do later is go and cut one of those tails off and connect it here. I will show you guys when I do that, but this is what happened across my front. That's why my front is no longer consistent. The parts are no longer consistent because I had to go and make some changes in order to save my hair. So like I said, I use this tool if the hair is 4 inches. Well, this is not enough to use this tool. So I'm going to have to go and use this one. Hi, Grayson. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, bye-bye. Go back out. I'll see you in a few minutes. That's fine. And then get ready for bed.
Yes, Mom.
Okay, Grayson, close the door. Okay. So, anyway. So I have to use the smaller hook because this is a smaller, shorter lock. So here we go. I'm going to do the same rotation. Right to left. Bottom to top. And see, it slips out so much easier when the locks are shorter, which could slow you down almost just as much as using a crochet needle. When the locks are shorter, you really have to feel your way through as well. So familiarize yourself with your hair. Don't be afraid to reach up there and touch it and feel how much space is between different ones. I feel like I know all of my locks really personally. So I'm able to feel my way through a lot easier as well. Okay. Really isn't enough space up there to do that final one. Not with this size tool. So if I want to do that last one, I like to always end my locks going downward. So now I'm going to go to the micro size. I had the small before, so now I'm going to go to the micro size. And I'm going to do that last, top to bottom. The micro size pulls through a lot easier without spreading the hairs out too much. Okay, so that's my little short baby there in the front. So here's another horrible thing that I had happen because I made my locks too small in the front. So you see how tiny these locks are and how thin they are at the roots? So I decided to make this a two-tailed lock. I'm going to combine these two locks. I've actually combined these two locks before, but I didn't do it through interlocking. I just twisted them together to see if they would stay, and they did not want to stay. So I'm going to only combine them at the root. And you'll see what I mean when I say a two-tailed lock. I'm going to go ahead and do the one behind them so you can get it out of the way. So we're going to get it. Get the hair. This is a nice long lock, so I'm going to use my favorite tool again. And we're going to tighten it up. Right to left, bottom to top, left to right, and top to bottom. Okay, I need to do another rotation. Right to left, bottom to top, left to right, and top to bottom. This is a pretty small lock too, but it's in good condition. So I'm gonna tuck it back. It's done. And I have another one I'm gonna do before I show y'all how to combine those two babies. I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. This one is right behind the short one. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it up. Right to left, bottom to top, left to right, and top to bottom. And again, do that same pattern. Still a good bit of slack, so I'm going to do a half. Okay, that is all done. Now, so my two little super skinny babies right here. See that? See how thin that is? That is way too thin. I don't trust them. Now, the funny thing about it, some people's sister locks are this tiny, but this really should have been one lock from the start. So I'm going to combine them only at the root. So I'm going to take both locks and I'm going to put both ends in at the same time. So this is how you combine two weak locks and you will have a two-tailed lock. Now when everything is together, no one will know the difference, but this is going to save both of these locks. So I'm going to do the same thing, the same rotation. Make sure you get in there, you get the locks intertwined good. There we go. It stopped. Pull them through. Bottom to top. Right to left. Left to right, and top to bottom. Okay, so they are now combined, but I'm going to make sure it's tightened all the way up. This will be probably my 6th set of locks that I've combined due to thinness at the roots. All of this is mainly because of inconsistencies in my own parting, because I started my own hair. So I couldn't see everything at all times, and I did make a few mistakes. Everybody else's locks are pretty consistent. You may feel a lock here and there that feels a little bit smaller than maybe the one beside it. Yeah, that probably is true. Locks are mostly the same size, but you'll have a few inconsistencies here and there. Okay, so now one body, two tails. This is a 2 tail lock. Now, what I may do and what I've done in the past is my other 2 tail locks, I will cut the tail, one of the tails, and do a combine. I have a few other combined locks across the front to make them longer. So either I'm going to do that with these, but because they're so thin, I really think I'm slowly going to interlock them together. But right now, I'm just going to let them be. So, other than my little baby I got to work on right here, my retie is done. I'm so happy I can run my fingers through my hair again. As you can see, who would ever know that I had a 2-tail lock anywhere in my hair? It's so many of them. That doesn't matter, ladies. Let me see if I can find. I have one of those 2-tail locks is over here somewhere. This is another one that's like that one that I said in the front that I'm working on. I had to go back and get it ready. I did that little inner looping technique to get it tight. So I had to go back and finish tightening it. But anyway, you have to use the potty. Well, anyway, I guess the Bathroom Chronicles Installment 2 has come to an end. Grayson has to use the bathroom. I will post a picture of this lock over here when I get it finished, and my other one over here when I get it finished. So, you see it looks almost the same. You can see a little bit better. Hi, Symphony. See that little knot right there? This one over here is going to look about the same. It's going to have a little knot on it, but over time, it's going to blend in. So, my beautiful imperfect locks are all done. I'm so happy. I can run my fingers through my hair. My scalp feels cool. I'm super pleased. Even with the problems that I have encountered with my hair, this is still the best decision I could have ever made. I'm going to let them grow until they won't grow anymore. And that's that. So, questions, comments, message me, call me, text me, whatever. Good night, y'all.